Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to our BIZ-M-Power webinar. I am Angie. For the folks who don't know me, I sit on the western part of the state for the chamber. We have today with us Ibrahim Barachia from Patronicity. He is the president and co-founder. He's a civic and community crowdfunding platform built to inspire growth and change in community and economic development throughout cities and towns, both urban and rural across the country. And growing Patronicity, what they do is they're more than just a civic crowdfunding platform. He has led Patronicity to change the way grants are administered and how communities come together to envision, build, and create more sustainable and impactful projects meaningful to them. And then we also have Teresa Ng. She is a community project manager at Massachusetts Growth Capital Corporation, so MGCC, and she leads the BIZ-M-Power Matching Grant Program, which aims to promote the economic success of entrepreneurs and small business owners in Massachusetts. She was first hired as a coalition liaison in helping with one of the largest COVID-19 small business grant program applicants that needed language and technical assistance to cross the finish line. Sorry, lost my place here. Before MGCC, she was a coffee guru with over 12 years experience of specialty craft coffee. She helped launch a new coffee bar and design drinks for a boutique fitness studio as an extension of its lifestyle brand in 2019. She's also a business management and entrepreneur graduate from University of Phoenix with an extensive background in running and working with charitable organizations. So for today, we will speak about the BIZ-M-Power crowdfunding matching grant program. And what this is this offers small businesses in Massachusetts financial assistance with their acquisition, expansion, improvement, or lease of a facility, purchase or lease of equipment, or with meeting other capital needs for their businesses. So eligible applicants will be empowered to advance their businesses with an innovative approach to obtaining capital. And through crowdfunding campaigns, these businesses connect with their local residents and stakeholders to advance projects that support economic success and transformation for their business and in their communities. So before I kick it off, we try to make this as engaging as possible. If you have a question, comment, please don't hesitate to place it in the chat. We have Gabby, who's also part of the chamber. She will be help facilitating those questions as they come in. Okay. So with that, let's talk about what is crowdfunding.
And then anyone from the audience can either you can put in the chat what your thoughts are about crowdfunding, or you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you to talk.
Let's see.
It's like Sarah has. Sarah, have a question?
I think Sarah was just acknowledging MGCC.
Oh, okay.
That she loves. Oh, yeah. She's had success with before.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let me just share my screen. So how can BIZ-M-Power elevate your small business? I'm gonna play a video on what is crowdfunding.
There's no sound.
Oh, there's no sound. We should have checked sound. Hmm. 5. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. 19. 20. 21. 22. 23. 24. 25. 26. 27. 28. 29. 30. 31. 32. 33. 34. 35. 36. 37. 38. 39. 40. 41. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. 70. 71. 72. 73. 74. 75. 76. 77. 78. 79. 80. 81. 82. 83. 84. 85. 86. 87. 88. 89. 90. 91. 92. 93. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 99. 100. 101. 102. 103. 104. 105. 106. 107. 108. 109. 110. 111. 112. 113. 114. 115. 116. 117. 118. 119. 1
It looks like a quick question that's in the Q&A box right now. Does tech equipment count as capital expenses for this workshop?
Teresa?
Hold on, can you hear me? Okay, good. All right, let me just. We're gonna try this again. If people here. Okay, what we're gonna do, that technical difficulties. So we're gonna drop the link in the chat. You guys can listen to it later, just so we're not. Sorry about that. I think there's just technical difficulties with the sound. Ibrahim, do you want to share?
Yes, I'll be happy to. Thank you guys so much for being here this afternoon. What is crowdfunding? I saw some comments already in the chat, and we want this to be interactive, so feel free to chip in things or raise your hand, and we'll as much as we can try to make it, to unmute you and have people comment back. Well, crowdfunding essentially is the process of raising a large amount of money, the funding from a large group of people, the crowd, and usually over a constrained time period, because that sense of urgency really drives people to want to give. And a couple differentiations. So this program is specifically a reward or donation-based crowdfunding model, different than an equity or debt-based crowdfunding model. In those models, the businesses or whoever's running the campaign is required to provide equity to those investors or pay them back through a debt-based process. But in reward and donation-based crowdfunding, businesses are running campaigns, raising funds from their new and existing customer base, family and friends, for one, and what we incentivize is some sort of reward or giving level. We work and talk to businesses how that giving level can be connected back to their business, and that would incentivize customers to support. We also do see people just giving and supporting businesses on a donation basis scale. But that is crowdfunding. It's the process of raising money, typically online, from a large group of people.
So with that, what does MGCC match mean? So you have this crowdfunding component. So how does MGCC support this?
Thank you, Angie. So the BIZ-M-Power grant program, again, was designed to help the entrepreneurs and business owners like yourself to gain new knowledge and skills to obtain capital, earned equity through the crowdfunding platform. So there's currently 6 million available, and matching grants preferences will be given to low or moderate income brick and mortar businesses owned by women, minorities, immigrants, and non-native English speakers, U.S. military veterans, disabled individuals, and members of the LGBTQ community, and businesses that are operating gateway cities. So think of it this way, it's designed to help you build equity, build wealth, and kind of that bridge gap, right, for low to moderate income owners that may or may not qualify for a loan that is looking to expand their business.
And who is eligible for this program, Teresa?
Okay, so I'm going to share a little bit about eligibility. So you have to have a funding need for eligible capital expenses, a business that has a customer-facing physical presence. This grant program was designed in mind with Main Street-like businesses. You can employ 1 to 20 full-time employees. Annual revenue doesn't exceed 2.5 million, and you have been in operation for at least 3 months. So you have to have at least 3 months in sales. I'll talk a little bit about the brick and mortar store customer-facing physical presence a little bit further in the grant process. But again, the full eligibility list is listed on the MGCC website. Again, primary source of income, don't see 2.5, not a home-based business, not a nonprofit, you don't own 2 or more franchises, can't be a real estate or rental sales business, you can't be a lobbyist, you cannot, unfortunately, be a cannabis-related business. Thank you.
And what-
And as you can see, eligible business can seek up to 20K in matching grants. And really exciting, all funds raised over 5,000 will be matched.
And what can they use the money for?
So our next slide is about the capital expenses. So you can use it. We've had quite a few businesses that were looking to purchase the building, their facility, or a new space. So look at it this way, like new signage or remodel, if you're building additional square footage out. We also have a business owner on this called Dr. Steve, can I call you Dr. Steve? that I used it. He'll share a little bit later for a build out. I mean, new space. And then example, if you're a home-based business and you're looking to have your first storefront, you could use the funds for that first lease, and we'd only have covered the lease and deposit fee for that. And then really popular is the purchase of equipment. So if you're a restaurant, commercial oven, refrigerator, etc., commercial vehicle, other tangible needs or intangible assets or patents. So what this fund cannot be used for is day-to-day operational costs. So no inventory, no utility bills, no employee payroll, no employee benefits, not current rent, not current lease, no marketing costs. So that includes no websites.
Okay.
And Gabby, was there a question on something on what was eligible? I think now would be a great time to address that.
If anybody,
Yep. In the Q&A section, somebody asked, does tech equipment count as capital expenses for this workshop as a solopreneur?
like a printer shop.
Like solo entrepreneur.
Is
So
tech equipment?
What tech equipment?
Like what type of tech equipment?
It doesn't say in the question.
Let's say, okay. So tech equipment, like if you're a photographer, I'm just going to use this as an example. Like if you're a photographer and tech equipment, like you need cameras are allowed, computers are allowed. Again, it has to POS systems, sound, lighting, stuff like that. But if whoever asked that question, if you want to put it like in the chat, if it's really specific, more than happy to. Okay.
Thank you.
And so if folks are interested, Teresa, what does that process look like, and a sense of the timeline as well?
Yeah, so it's basically a 4-step process. So it's very different from any of our other MGC grant programs. So step 1 is just completing the application on the MGC website with all the requested documentation. And that's really important, is that BIZ-M-Power project table. So what you're going to use the funds for. And that'll just go for a review process. And then step 2 would be, if you get conditionally approved by MGCC, you're going to start your crowdfunding page with that approved budget. So that BIZ-M-Power project table. And at that point, you'll be assigned a personal crowdfunding coach from Patronicity who will assist you. And then the third step is that you begin working with your coach to help prepare that public-facing crowdfunding page. You develop your rewards, like Ibrahim had mentioned. You can run your campaign for anywhere from 30 to 60 days. And then that campaign will be launched within 30 days of MGC approval. And then step 4 is really the fun part, is that you'll receive funding if your campaign reaches its goal, or if it raises over 5,000. you'll receive a matching grant and all the funds that you raised on your platform.
And then I know as I shared this opportunity, Teresa, with our members, one of the first things they say is, crowdfunding, I don't know how to do this. Who's going to help me?
Mhm. So yeah, so if you're new to crowdfunding, yeah, Ibrahim, do you want to share a little bit more about?
Yeah. So that's a great question. New to crowdfunding, a majority of the businesses we do work with have never crowdfunded before. And what we love to try to do is open up this as an opportunity to say, hey, how can we connect back with the community of people that support you, your customers, and able to generate traction and a movement to be able to raise funds? How can we help you become successful? So also unique with Patronicity is every single project gets paired with a Patronicity project coach. Crowdfunding is not very difficult, but it's kind of like riding a bike. The first time you do it, you might fall. So we kind of see ourselves as a training wheels to help you along that way, help you understand what crowdfunding is, help ensure it's the right fit for what you're trying to do with your customers or the capacity that you have or the goals that you have. Sometimes it may not be the right fit for you and your business, maybe at this time or just generally. Second, what makes a successful crowdfunding campaign? How to build that page. We'll coach you through that process as well. And provide you with like outreach strategies and marketing ideas, share those best practices, and help you launch that campaign. At Patronicity, we don't actually crowdfund for you. So we're kind of like that trainer at a gym. We'll tell you what you need to do to be successful. You have to lift the weights to see the results. But you're not alone in that process. And so that's a little bit of the support that we're able to provide at Patronicity. So you can have a little bit of an understanding of what it takes and how to run that campaign.
And I think the second question I tend to get after, okay, I don't know how to do it is, Angie, no one is, who's going to donate? Can you speak into that concern?
Yeah. So primarily the first people that are going to support your campaign are people that are connected to you. And that's just a general true statement across all types of giving. People are going to want to support you because one, they know you or they know your business. They've seen they've had a connection with you and they kind of want to see you grow. The second, and this really works well for businesses, is you have the opportunity to provide incentives or rewards. Say you're a restaurant, you can offer discounts or a free meal. Now, when someone comes in for that free meal, you have to remember a couple of things. One, there's a match coming. So you're getting paid on, not only like $25, say they gave $25 and it gives them a free sandwich. That sandwich probably cost you way less than $25. Plus you're getting the match. On top of that, they most likely bring in a friend. They're a new customer or a returning customer. They're visiting the store. They may order more than that amount when they're actually in your store. So that's the first types of people that are going to support. I get this question a lot, and my number one example I go to is years ago, my mom, she's a breast cancer survivor, and she did the Susan G. Komen 30-day walk. And a part of that, or 3-mile walk or something, or 3-day walk, it's 60 miles. A part of that is she has to fundraise and collect money. And a lot of her friends, everybody, you can ask anybody, they all support the fight against cancer. And a lot of her friends actually said this was one of their first times they ever donated to this opportunity. But it was because they had a personal connection to my mom and to her fight against cancer. And so in the similar way, people are going to want to support you because they're connected to you or connected to your business. And so typically that's one of the myths. Strangers typically are not just supporting. With a business, you do have the opportunity to get new customers. And the last thing I'll say about this is crowdfunding, we always say it's more of a marketing campaign than it is a funding campaign. The funding that you're getting is really impactful, but from $5,000 to $20,000 with that match, that's $10,000 to $40,000. That's a lot. However, it's the crowd, it's the marketing that comes behind it. The crowd comes before the funding. quite literally. So thinking about it like that, getting, the word out there, promoting it, and trying to reach as many people so that they learn about your business and they can support it, whether through the campaign or after.
And I know, as you know, if I know someone who's crowdfunding, I also send it to my friends and they tend to give as well. So it's, it's a domino effect, right? You start off with your inner circle, and then that inner circle also shares it with their inner circle.
That's exactly it. I actually say the exact same thing, Angie. Thank you. Domino effect.
Yes. And I often tell business owners to, think of it this way, like it's a platform for you to be able to share the story about your business and where it's going. And there's a lot of community support out there. You'll be surprised.
So do you have examples, Teresa, that you can give us? That campaigns that have been examples?
I'm actually, we're just gonna go. I'm gonna introduce, hold on. Can everybody still see my screen?
Yep.
Currently we have so many projects. So very exciting. Is we have Dr. Steve. Do you prefer to be called Dr. Steve or?
Nope, Dr. Steve is great.
From Boston Direct, I recently just saw that you just crossed over and exceeded your goal in the last 24 hours. So that's very exciting. So if you can, if you just share a little bit about your kind of experience with crowdfunding. Did you have any prior to this?
No personal experience or professional experience with crowdsourcing. Been familiar with it with various volunteer situations like a disaster relief or what have you, or a big hospital bill where people are raising money for things like that. Now for my business, I'm in the process of moving to a larger office where there would love to provide additional medical equipment for services for my primary care patients, as well as with the newer office, it's twice the size, and being able to get the equipment to just keep the things running day to day. I have been keeping an eye on the MGCC grants for the better part of 8 months. And with the newer version of you just need to raise 5,000 for the match, was a lot more feasible and less scary than the original way that things were set up, which we don't need to go into that. The application probably took maybe a total of 2.5 hours to fill out over the course of like a week to get all the necessary information. Had so much help filling out the application from the Chamber of Commerce, and once that got approved, putting together the page. One, it was so the way that the Patronicity has the instructions for setting up the page, it was pretty much idiot proof, and I'm not technology literate at all, but got a lot of great help. My game plan for the fundraising was beg desperately with my patients and customers and friends. And what was great was I was actually really surprised with the one talking about the project for my business, how much support and was really surprised on people who did donate were not necessarily people that I thought were going to. I did a lot of personal emails, mass emails, social media posts. What I found worked the best was actually face-to-face talking to my customers, and anywhere from $20 to someone that donated $2,000, and was really thankful for the Massachusetts LGBT Chamber of Commerce for their very generous donation as well. And now that we've surpassed the goal, I'm trying to guilt trip some other patients to donate a little bit extra so we can buy some more equipment. With less than 24 hours left to donate, if you want to take a look at for more examples on like how to set up a page, or want to throw a few bucks for the projects, very much appreciate it.
Yeah, I can drop the link in the chat. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, like I loved how you the donors you shared. Again, if you guys can see it, again, it's a range of small to little. Yeah. Stop sharing for 2 seconds. Does anybody have any questions about setting up or?
It looks like there was one question about what if part of retail includes CBD products?
It depends on what, like if you were like a salon and you were selling the salon services, and then you had like hair, or there was like a lotion. I'm trying to think of an example, like a lotion, like one lotion like line. I guess that's okay, but it can't be your whole yeah. Like you can't be a vape shop, not a cannabis shop. If that makes sense. I'm thinking of like beauty. Beauty would fall into like that category where they might have like a line that has CBD. So that would be applicable.
Any other questions in the chat, Gabby? Is that it?
Not that I've seen. I'm just scrolling back. Somebody asked for the website that was dropped.
Yeah. I can share a couple more examples and we can do like a Q&A if that's everybody's good with that. And thank you so much for hearing. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the main site. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of community support. Yeah, that's just okay. So there are, again, we have art studios, yoga, Pilates, restaurants. Actually, American Vinegar Works is also a member of yours. Again, you can see the story. You don't have to necessarily do a video. Rodrigo, again, they worked with the reward base, tasting events, stuff like that. Again, I think his was also equipment as well. Yeah,
I thought his reward base is quite interesting. If you just want to give a few examples of that, just to see if it triggers any.
So, like, donate to Worcester County Food Bank. That's really unique, So we'll donate a bottle if you do $20 or more. If you give 35 or more, they're doing vinegar. Send you one of the vinegar varieties and a custom tea towel. And then exclusive to early access to newest flavors. is 100 or more. Again, you'd work with the coach in design. Every business is different. To give 300 or more a tasting event, which is in the virtual hosting. Again, it's really clever. And then 800 or more is a private tour of the Vinegar Works. So yeah, those are some ideas. Not all campaigns have reward based. It does give incentive. There's been other examples in which no, I wish there was a better back button. In where it's been support was just basically donation based as well. All right, it takes a little while to load. Lucy Suite Classroom is another one. Just ideas, just to give you guys a couple of ideas. Intern, like this funny plan: intern, dishwasher, prep cook, baker. I think they did it on baits of coffee, and just a little play. Again, the smaller rewards, there was just like a good, an incentive. Yeah, I love how they did it on a play on the expediter and sous chef and all that. So yeah, again, you could have as many as the rewards and as little as rewards. So yeah. So yeah, those are just some examples. And then you could see that she had 100. She had a lot, 144 donors, and that all ranged. See, smaller donations, larger donations, making up part of that. So yeah.
So to recap, right, it's our members, they have the ability to raise up to $20,000. And if they do so, they'll get a match of $20,000 from MGCC. The minimum amount they need to raise is $5,000. Total raise is $5,000. You don't walk this process alone. So Patronicity is here to guide you. They'll give you a coach. They'll help you set it up all online. They go through a session of, okay, what is the best way to present your crowdsourcing campaign? And then what we could do at the chamber is, if you launch a crowdsourcing campaign, I personally blast it out on my Facebook page, on my social media page. You can blast it out on our personal chamber page as well. And then if you get close to meeting your goal, there's always a discussion with the chamber. Can we push you over the finish line, right? Because we want to see you succeed. Okay. Is there anything I missed out in the recap? Ibrahim?
No, that was perfect.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay. So let's get into our Q&A. Let's see if we have any more questions in our Q&A.
There's a couple questions in the chat. Teresa, this would be a question for you. Would modifications to current vehicles owned be a use of possibilities?
Modification to
A current vehicle that they have. So business, sounds like the Elizabeth's business has vehicles that they already have. They own them, and they want to modify them, maybe to make them a little bit more adaptable to complete the services of their business.
That is a good question. For the vehicle and not the building. Oh, that's a gray. I would have to know more about that. What type of
She has a cleaning business, Elizabeth.
cleaning?
And so, yeah, and that's what her business is about. So I'm assuming the vehicles that she has is transport all of her cleaning equipment
Okay.
to service her customers.
Okay. Yeah, you can shoot a separate email to the BIZ-M-Power email. Logo wrapping, shelving. Yes, that would be. Yeah, logo wrapping. Yes.
Oh, great. Oh, good.
Excellent.
Elizabeth. We can start that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's
Sorry, go ahead, Angie.
So there's another question. So the grants will match the amount raised through independent funding. Sorry.
Yes, so the process, again, you start your application through BIZ-M-Power on the submittable link. Once you're approved, you get moved over and you start working with us. And the grant will match what you crowdfund. So to achieve the grant, you need to crowdfund. You can't necessarily do it independently, like, you know, on any other site. We have a specific working partnership with BIZ-M-Power, so it has to be with Patronicity. And you have to if your goal is set, say you have a budget of $20,000 for all the elements that you need, the capital improvements, you would be raising 10,000, you would get a match of 10,000. And it does not match the exceeded amount. So if you end up raising, 12,000, you'll still get the match of 10. You'll be able to keep that 12 and be able to complete your project. If you fall short of that goal of 10,000, you can get a partial match if you exceeded at least a minimum of $5,000. Those are a bunch of technical things, but if you get started, we'll help work to get you exactly what you need and figure that out.
Yep.
Yes,
Thank you.
and the review process as well. We'll work with you in that BIZ-M-Power project table, back and forth, helping you set a realistic goal.
Okay. We have another question. It says, how are funds distributed and spending tracked when the crowdfunding is finalized? Good question.
Okay, so the funds that you raised on the Patronicity platform, the funds will be distributed by Patronicity. The matching grant portion will be distributed by MGCC. So then we would collect banking info, vote a check, etc. And the funds will be tracked. So there'll be a BIZ-M-Power project completion that will be sent to you 90 days. So realistically, or in the DocuSign grant agreement, you have 90 days to purchase and complete your project. Obviously, build outs are longer, I understand that. So there's going to be a project completion that will will have you upload receipts, photos of your project, and I would hang on to any receipts that you've purchased, like equipment.
So they have 90 days in total to get it all done. And then we have another question that says, what's the time frame of when the crowdsourcing campaign is complete, but when the money is deposited into their account?
That is a good question. So the funds get released when you have completed and the banking information has been verified. From that point, once it reaches the controller, again, you have to have the DocuSign signed. All the banking information needs to be verified and correct. And if you have all of that in, depending on the day of the week, it could be anywhere from 3 to 5 business days. It's 3 to 4 weeks, but 3 to 5 business days if you're on top of.
Okay.
It's typically pretty fast. I can just clarify that last piece. As soon as your campaign ends, the Patronicity team will send you an end of summary thing emailed. MGCC will send you a DocuSign agreement, so it's just a granting agreement. And then as soon as that is signed, Patronicity will disperse the funds raised online. You also have to fill out banking information on MGCC side to collect the grant. As soon as that is done, like Teresa said, 3 to 5, maybe 10 business days, you'll get the match. Our funds usually transfer as soon as that DocuSign is completed and all other verifications are completed. But we've seen a project being paid out as fast as 2 days, like a day after. So it's pretty quick.
Okay. And then does the ticker start from when the money is deposited? Then they have the 90 days from that point?
It's
to
from
complete
when
the
the
project?
DocuSign is signed.
Also, when the DocuSign is signed. So once they sign that, that's when the ticker starts. Okay. Any other questions? I think we've answered all of them. Teresa? Yeah. Any final thoughts on your side before we close for today?
Yeah, so if you're thinking about signing up for this program, I encourage you to really reach out to Angie or Thais.
Mhm.
They can help you through the project. And yeah, also, Becky just reminded me, we also have on the MGC website, if you want to talk a little bit more, we do have BIZ-M-Power virtual office hours that I will be doing twice a month with a patronage city coach. So again, as you're filling out that submittable application, you have any questions about required documents or about that, the project and what you want to use the funds for, is also, we can drop the website as well. So there's another way you can also get a hold of me as well. But yeah, so thank you so much for taking your lunch hour. Thank you so much. And congratulations, Dr. Steve. It's really exciting. Yeah. So.
Ibrahim, any final thoughts on your side?
Nothing specific, but we look forward to working with any businesses. If you do have any questions, remember you're not alone, and we'll love to work and guide you through this process. We've had the opportunity with working with dozens of different types of businesses, and seeing how they all succeed in one way or another. But thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you both. Thank you both for taking your lunch hour as well to host this webinar. And if any of our folks are interested, please reach out to Thais or myself, and we'll be more than happy to jumpstart your campaign. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.